Now, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has called for swift and comprehensive measures to combat the rise in juvenile crime affecting communities nationwide. Speaking at the inauguration of the steering committee for the annual IG conference on juvenile crime prevention in Abuja, Egbetokun emphasized the importance of addressing the issues and root causes primarily linked to family dynamics. Represented by the Assistant Inspector General Mohammed Dankwara, he highlighted the severe impact of youth crimes on communities. Chinedum Ikogwe, Executive Director of the Center for Family Peace, stated that the project aims to tackle the challenges of juvenile criminality, attributing the increase to parental neglect. The initiative will extend to all 36 states, underscoring the urgent need to prioritize youth guidance and family engagement in crime prevention efforts. So to further talk about this, I am joined by Toho Oseruwoja, who is a legal practitioner. Thank you so much, Mr. Oseruwoja, for joining us on the news.
You are welcome, Lekon.
So let's first understand what legal challenges or maybe gaps that actually fuel juvenile crime that we've seen pervade the country in a couple of years now.
Lekon, when you talk about juvenile crime, you discover that the event that just happened a few weeks ago or last week that resulted the president intervention and also resulted to a wide cry is that we had procedural irregularities or procedural hiccup when it comes to juvenile crime. Then if you look at it basically, because when the procedures are not in place, obviously the society will not get to know the implications, or the family or the people involved, stakeholders involved, will not get to know implication of some of these things that occur. Now, the first issue is one, the institution, which is the Nigerian police now, which is the first agents when it comes to the administration of criminal justice, are they aware or are they properly equipped to fight juvenile crime? The answer is no, because several events has exposed it all. Then two, are they also intellectually capable to know what a juvenile crime is, or who can be categorized as a juvenile, and who are responsible or who can be held liable for any offense? The answer is no, because over time, they've disappointed Nigerians when it comes to the opportunity to prove themselves right. The criminal code makes it clear. The criminal code, which is applicable in the South, makes it clear. Section 30 of the criminal code talks about people who can be held liable for offenses. A child between when he was born, let me give that example, to 7 cannot be held liable for any offense or alleged offense that child would have committed. Then 7 to 12, there are procedures to follow to ascertain if the child is mentally or intellectually capable to have understand the nature of the offense he has committed. So we bring in the procedure of partial liability to that offense. Then when a child is above 12 years, which is the juvenile we are talking about, from 12 to 17, the child is liable. The juvenile is liable for the offense. But there are procedures to follow for such child to be held liable.
So is it that the Nigerian police force does not understand the stipulation or the position of the law just as you have painted it? Because, you know, the PRO said that once you're 7 years, then you can't be convicted. And we know that they do go on periodical trainings to acquire knowledge as regards the procedures of the law and their ambits. So now that you're saying this, is it that they don't understand, or they just need to make these people in the picture that you painted as scapegoats, those who they perceive as enemies of the state?
No, you know, when it comes to the law, there's nothing like scapegoats. When it comes to issue of law, there's nothing like scapegoat. People are held liable for every offense, for any offense they committed. Do you get it? But you could see that the Nigerian police, I don't really know, over the time, they are the oldest institution we inherited from our colonial masters. But over the time, you discover that the Nigerian police are more of politically activated than professionally active. So that is where we get the problem wrong. Because if you look at from all perception, if you listen to the speech of if you listen to the speech of the Inspector General of Police, with all due respect, you could see that there's a fundamental defect in his intention to fight juvenile crime, because it's not even telling Nigerians that, well, due to event that has happened that just happened, we've got to understand the weakness in our own institution to fight juvenile crime. Everything pushed to the family. Yes, the family plays close to 50% of the input of a child. Whatever a child has been outside, the family plays a 60%. Then the other 50% is the society. And when the society and the institutions that make up the society are defects, obviously the defect button of the child or the juvenile will come to play. Go back to the penal code, which is in the North, section 50. He also made it clear. But you see, we all have this problem. The problem is that when a crime is not properly defined and when the procedures are not properly followed, both the institution and the victim becomes the society, and the victim, which is the victim of the crime, we're not talking about the perpetrators now, becomes what? The scapegoat. In the sense, like, becomes the scapegoat. Let me use the word the scapegoat, or becomes the double victim in the whole process.
Okay.
You could see what happened now. Now, a crime was committed, alleged crime was committed, a treasonable felony, a treasonable charge was framed. The president stepped in, ridiculed the court. And now, because we're all looking at it from this perspective now. On the day that case will be, the day the case is adjourned, how would the judge look like?
Okay, so
the prosecutor prosecute the matter. So these are the issues we should look at.
So if we now have societal defects, and we have defects on the part, or we have an eroded, so to speak, security architecture that should deal with issues like this, how do we now strengthen the legal framework so as to deal with these issues, follow the process, deal with them? Or probably there are policies or some kind of laws that should be brought on board to update what we have as of now, so that we have justice being served and we're able to follow the due process when it comes to dealing with juvenile crime.
No, the laws are there. The laws are there. I just quoted the laws that stipulate.
So how do we now make it work? How do we make it work?
And the other thing. Then we should also look at, if you look at it, the laws when it comes to juvenile crime and the laws when it comes to handling of children or handling of juvenile in Nigeria, you look at the Child Rights Act. These are there. Do you understand? Then we'll now look at the institution, the police, the correctional facility, the judiciary. So these are issues, and if you look at it, they are all in place. But we are in a country where human influence override institutional policy. Human influence override institutional policy, in the sense that whoever is there determines what should happen rather than what the law is saying. That is just the simple truth. So we coming back to circle there is nothing, if you look at, we have fantastic law. Nigeria has fantastic law, but the only problem we are having is institutions. We have stronger individual than weaker institutions. So when you talk about the Child Rights Act is there, which the police would have followed, which the society would have followed, which parents should follow, and even the court, the correctional facilities, all these are there to combat juvenile crime.
Well, we hope that we can build stronger institutions than individuals in this country. That's the only way we can get it right. Atoho Oseruwaja, it was nice talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.